Well, hello there, fellow geeks and geekettes, and welcome to yet another review video. Now, if you've been following my channel for some time, you know that I've just recently got into manga, like a half a year ago. Actually, I started reading manga because of all this pandemic situation, and I was looking for other ways of entertainment because I've always loved reading all kinds of literature. Novels, poetry, comic books, graphic novels. I've always liked watching movies and TV shows, like all of us. But I always told myself, man, you can't start reading manga because as soon as you start reading manga, your reading list will not only double, it will become like a triple size. And yeah, that's exactly what happened. I started reading manga, I've read Berserk, I've read what was it? I've got Beastars. I've read Hellsing. I've read Dragon Ball, which I think still is my favorite manga of all time because it's a proper, true, very cute escapism, and I've been trying to get into the classic manga from the 80s and the 90s because I always like the older stuff, but time after time, I like to venture into something newer, such as the Beastars I just mentioned. And sometimes I get reading copies or review copies from one of the Czech publishers that publishes, comic books and manga translated into Czech. And I don't really review American comic books translated into Czech, which is my mother tongue, because I just don't like reading translated literature. From one of the languages that I know, that I speak, because I recognize a bad translation, and I'm a very pedantic person as far as translation goes. It might also be the fact that I teach English, so yeah. But I just got this, which is Pokémon manga. The first two volumes, which just came out in the Czech Republic, and since I don't speak Japanese, I can't really say whether this is a bad translation or not. But I wished for these two volumes of manga. I wrote to the publisher to send me these review copies because when I was a little kid, obviously, as many people in the world, I loved Pokemon. I loved the anime, the TV show, and I was an avid collector of all the action figurines and the plushy toys and the trading cards. I never really played the games because I have never been a huge gamer. I play a video game time after time, but it's nothing really significant in my life. I prefer literature. But especially because of the TV show, the anime TV show that I loved and cherished when I was a little kid, I just jumped straight into reading this, and I loved it. It's in certain ways it's different, in certain ways it's very similar to the original anime, and I think it pays homage to the video game as well. But I can't judge that very much because I haven't really played the game. So we follow the adventures of Red, who's basically Ash from the anime, and he is the main character who wants to become the Pokemon trainer. If you don't know, Pokemon are these small monsters, little creatures that are living freely in the world of this particular, Pokemon world. And many people are using the Pokemon creatures for these, basically fights. So they collect the Pokemon, they hide for Pokemon, for these little monsters, pocket monsters, and they catch them, and then they kind of imprison them in their Pokeballs, right? Which I think a lot of people know these days, so I don't know why I'm describing that, why I'm really explaining it. The gist of this is that the same thing really happens in the manga. So we've got the main character Red, who embarks on an adventure to become the greatest Pokemon trainer of them all and to collect as many Pokemon as possible, and he gets a Pokédex from from the doctor, or from the scientist, the doctor, the professor, and he decides that he will get information about every single Pokemon there is. And on his journey, we of course encounter many adventures and characters that um, this actually reminds me of a lot of shonen manga titles where you've got this main protagonist, this main character who just goes somewhere on a journey, and on that journey, he or she meets other characters, and some of these characters become his friends, some of these characters become his enemies, but he fights almost each and every one of them very shortly after they meet. And whatever the result is, the main character then comes out of this fight stronger and cleverer. So there you can see, for example, how the Pokemon monsters are stored in the Pokeballs. So they are obviously able to get smaller and bigger depending on whether they are in the Pokeballs or not. And some people say that this manga is darker than the original anime, and that it's got moments that are not really 100% appropriate for kids, especially because of the fact that the Pokemon die in this, and that there are sort of graphic scenes that you could really consider violent. So this might be a little spoiler. This Poliwhirl gets stabbed by another Pokemon, but we get to know that it is only a mirage. So this Poliwhirl wasn't a true Poliwhirl, but still, there is this panel when he gets stabbed in the belly. But you are talking to a person who read the the Twilight, the Eclipse, the Eclipse portion of Berserk, and went like, this is very good written, very, very well written. I'm not moved by this emotionally. I am not shocked but it is very, very excellent. So for those of you who don't know, the Eclipse saga in the manga Berserk should be one of the most shocking scenes or shocking episodes in manga in general. And it is, quite honestly and quite objectively, I say that it is greatly, masterfully, geniusly written, very shocking, very disturbing, definitely not for children, not safe for work. But I wasn't, because I'm used to violence in art, in literature, in films. So Pokemon dying wasn't really anything that shocking for me. All I can say is that this manga, these 2 volumes that I've got so far, and there are going to be more, of course, written by Hidenori Kusaka and drawn by Mato, is extremely entertaining. It's fun. It's very much similar to the original anime, which makes me quite happy because I loved it, as I mentioned. The art is beautiful. The art is cute. We've got all the characters that we knew in the original anime, even though some of them have different names, such as Red, who's basically Ash. But we've got Pikachu over here, right? Everybody knows Pikachu, right? So we've got Pikachu, very, very cute Pikachu. We've got Bulbasaur and Charmander and Poliwhirl, and we've got Misty here, right? So we've got Misty. Later on, we'll meet Brock, I think he's called, yeah. So I think that this manga will be enjoyed by everybody who loved or has loved or loves Pokemon, be it the anime or the original video games. And it is not only is it a nice, different representation of the Pokemon franchise, but I would say that it also expands on the universe a little bit, because there are still things that are different from the anime and the original video games. So once again, thank you to the Crew publisher, a Czech publisher that publishes comic books and manga. Of course, in Czech we should pronounce this grev, but and I'm looking forward to the next volumes and for writing new reviews on it. So what do you think, my friends? Have you ever read the Pokemon manga? Or have you just seen the anime, played the video games? Do you care about Pokemon at all or not? Let me know in the comments down below. And do not forget to dislike this video if you don't like it, or like this video if you like it, and subscribe to this unimportant channel of an unimportant geek talking about unimportant things. And that will be all from me. See you soon, and bye.